Hey there, fellow ChessGoons. My name is Anthony Arena. I am a 2000 rated chess expert from Long Island, New York. And today we're going to go over the King's Gambit, one of the most dangerous and exciting openings in all of chess. And I'm going to show you guys how to dismantle it in a live game. Enjoy.
All right, and we're getting our first 1200 opponent. Um, Scary, right, guys? I mean, you're playing against a 1200, and anything's possible, right? I mean, this is going to be a dangerous opponent. E4, E5, and we'll see what's going to happen. There's so many different options. We don't want to think too much about it yet. As of now, all we're doing, controlling the center. Other than that, let's not worry too much about what openings he's going to play because truth be told, there are a lot of different options here. So let's see what he decides to do. The King's Gambit. Okay. So I believe the best option against the King's Gambit is to take f4, accept the Gambit, and he's immediately playing for d4. So this is a very hyper-aggressive line, but in this position, we actually do get queen h4, which is the undisputed best move here. Notice that you can't actually block the check properly, and the king's going to end up stuck in the middle of the board, which is going to be a major concession for white. So let's do that. Queen h4 check, and notice if pawn g3, pawn takes back, pawn takes, and we win the rook. So immediately getting himself in some trouble, and this is a mistake here, guys. So the pawn pushes to g3, pawn takes, and you're not going to be able to take back here. And now g2 is a threat. This is actually probably resignable, unless I'm missing something, because also queen to e4. Okay, hear me out, guys. I think we win a rook here. So I'm thinking this through, and yes, we have check, but I'm not sure if the check on e4 is the best option here. If we were to play pawn to g2, forking the rook and the bishop, it's a discovery check, right? So the king's in check, knight takes queen back, pawn takes rook, and if you really think about it, we're not trading a queen for a rook, we're trading a pawn for a rook. So let's do that, right? Let's go ahead and give up the queen, quick sacrifice, and maybe maybe just the best move, maybe a great move. It could be a bunch of different things, but now we'll promote to a queen, and we've just won a rook. You gotta be very careful in these types of situations, friends. It's scary when you're playing the King's Gambit. It can go very bad for both sides. So now, I see he's trying to trap our queen. Notice that we can't get out as of now. We can maybe play queen g1, but I don't necessarily want to waste the tempo. I like knight f6 a lot. And if he pushes, maybe what if he does push though? I guess if he pushes, then we can go knight e4. I do see e5 as a solid move. There's no checks here though, which is nice. Bishop. Hmm. There's bishop e7 to attack the knight, but then where's the knight go? If he goes here, we take the pawn back. If he goes here, that could be kind of tricky. Don't necessarily want to stimulate that type of position. Bishop check's not great. Pawn just jumps in front. Maybe it's still trapped though. It's still trapped. Let's go knight f6. We're gonna double attack this pawn, and if he pushes the pawn, I believe. I mean, really the problem is we don't necessarily want to play knight e4 or queen e4. It's tricky, guys. It's definitely tricky. We have a substantial advantage here, but our queen is trapped, but not in the most danger. You'd have to think, what's he going to take with, right? And notice this bishop here is pinned to the king. And in this way, we do have that substantial advantage because you can't just go play bishop g2 and now we're trapped, right? So that's going to be a mistake. Queen e4 kind of bails us out. I think e5 would have made it an interesting game. This fork doesn't work, so the bishop can just take, but in this way, simply just queen e4, and the queen will have to trade with us. The only caveat would be maybe he puts the bishop in front, but then knight hangs. Not really an option. And yeah, if you're enjoying this video, definitely go ahead and check out the rest of our speedrun videos. We start off at 400 and we're going all the way to 2000. Queen e4, knight takes. No big deal. Just trying to identify as many tactics as possible. The easy one is just g5, but he is eyeing down our c7 square. It would be a free pawn for him. He does need to win. Of course, that does come at the cost of development, and I might just play g5 anyway to allow our bishop to hit g7, and then maybe castle. We can steal some tempo, and then even if the knight decides to go to f5, just thinking d6. At this point, the only problem we have at our position is that we just don't really have great development. So trying to figure out what's the fastest way to expedite development. And I think g5 would be one idea. And then even d5 here, if we can get a discovery with the light square bishop. Okay. We have something to think about here. So bishop's attacking e4. We could just defend the knight, but g5 is an interesting idea here. It's something that we can at least consider. It's a fork. Bishop takes. We win one of these pieces. If bishop was to take g5, we just take back the knight. I like that. Even bishop f7 to me isn't the end of the world. Yeah, he gets a pawn out of it, but we're up a lot of material. He's very low on time. And this is obviously a mistake because knight just takes g5, and there's just no compensation here. Let's just start developing rapidly. d5 might be a choice move here just to strengthen the center, and he resigns. Solid game, guys.